The autumn rain hammered against the cracked windows of the small apartment on Dickerson Pike, creating a rhythmic percussion that seemed to underscore the melody floating through the cramped living room. Emily Anderson sat cross-legged on the worn carpet, her fingers tracing the raised dots of her Braille music sheets, while her voice filled every corner of the space with a hauntingly beautiful rendition of Fancy by Reba McEntire. At 12 years old, Emily had never seen the world around her. Born with Leber congenital amaurosis, complete blindness had been her reality from day one. But what her eyes couldn't perceive, her ears captured with extraordinary precision. Every note, every inflection, every emotion embedded in a song. She absorbed it all like a sponge soaking up water. "Mama left some biscuits in the oven, baby," Jennifer Anderson called from the kitchenette, her voice tight with exhaustion. She'd just returned from her morning shift at Mabel's Diner on Broadway, and her feet throbbed inside her worn sneakers. The lunch shift at the cleaning company started in 2 hours, barely giving her time to catch her breath. "I'm not hungry yet," Emily replied, her fingers continuing their dance across the Braille pages. "Can we practice the harmony part again? I think I'm getting it, but the transition in the bridge feels off." Jennifer dried her hands on a dish towel and walked into the living room, studying her daughter with a mixture of pride and something darker, fear. Emily's auburn hair, so much like Jennifer's own, cascaded over her shoulders as she tilted her head in concentration. The girl had inherited more than just hair color from her mother. That voice, that natural ability to convey emotion through song, it was all too familiar. "Em, you've been practicing for 3 hours," Jennifer said gently, lowering herself onto the sagging couch. "Your voice needs rest." "But the showcase is in 2 weeks," Emily protested, turning her face toward her mother's voice. Her eyes, a striking green despite their inability to see, seemed to look right through Jennifer. "Mrs. Patterson says this could be my big break. The Grand Ole Opry Scouts sometimes attend the Nashville Youth Talent Showcase." Jennifer's stomach tightened at the mention. Patricia Patterson, Emily's vocal coach at the Tennessee School for the Blind, had been filling her daughter's head with dreams for months now. Dreams that Jennifer knew all too well could shatter into 1,000 pieces. "I know what Mrs. Patterson says," Jennifer replied, trying to keep her tone neutral. "But let's not get ahead of ourselves, okay? This is just a local showcase." "Just a local showcase?" Emily's voice rose with frustration. "Mama, you don't understand. This is everything to me. Music is my way of seeing the world. When I sing, I can paint pictures that I'll never see with my eyes. Don't you get that?" Jennifer did get it. That was precisely the problem. She'd been 17 when she'd first stepped onto a stage in Memphis, convinced that her voice would be her ticket out of poverty. 20 years and countless rejections later, she was still living paycheck to paycheck, her dreams buried under bills and responsibilities. "I get it more than you know, baby," Jennifer said softly, reaching out to touch Emily's hand. "I just want to protect you from what? From living?" Emily pulled her hand away, frustration evident in every line of her small body. "You act like wanting to sing is dangerous. Like wanting to share my gift with people is going to hurt me." Before Jennifer could respond, her phone buzzed with a text from her supervisor at Crystal Clean Services. The afternoon client had moved their appointment up by an hour. She needed to leave now. "We'll talk about this later," Jennifer said, standing and grabbing her bag. "There's leftover chicken in the fridge for lunch. Promise me you'll eat something?" "I promise," Emily said, but her voice had gone cold in that way that broke Jennifer's heart. As Jennifer rushed out into the gray Nashville afternoon, guilt gnawed at her chest. She knew she was being unfair to Emily, projecting her own failures onto her daughter's dreams. But every time she imagined Emily standing on a stage, vulnerable and exposed to the harsh judgment of the music industry, panic seized her throat. The bus ride to the Gulch neighborhood took 45 minutes through heavy traffic. Jennifer stared out the rain-streaked window at the gleaming high-rises and trendy restaurants that had transformed Nashville into It City. This wasn't the Nashville she'd moved to 20 years ago, pregnant and alone, with nothing but a guitar and a head full of songs. The city had left her behind long ago. Her phone rang as she was stepping off the bus. Patricia Patterson's name flashed on the screen. "Jennifer, I'm so glad I caught you." Patricia's warm voice came through. "I have incredible news about Emily." Jennifer's heart sank. She knew that tone. It was the tone of someone about to offer an opportunity that Jennifer would have to figure out how to gently decline. "What's going on, Mrs. Patterson?" The showcase organizers want Emily to perform 2 songs instead of 1. They heard her during rehearsal yesterday, and they were blown away. "Jennifer, your daughter has something truly special. This could open so many doors for her." Jennifer closed her eyes, rain soaking through her thin jacket as she stood on the sidewalk. "That's wonderful, but I need to think about whether—" "There's more," Patricia interrupted, her excitement palpable. "One of the board members for the showcase is connected to the Ryman Auditorium. She mentioned that Reba McEntire is scheduled to be in Nashville next month for a benefit concert, and they're looking for local talent to feature. If Emily impresses at this showcase, she could actually meet Reba. Can you imagine?" Jennifer's breath caught. Reba McEntire, the woman whose songs Emily sang every single day, the artist who had inspired Jennifer's own doomed dreams decades ago. The thought of Emily getting that close to her idol should have filled Jennifer with joy. Instead, it filled her with terror. "Mrs. Patterson, I appreciate everything you've done for Emily. I really do. But I need some time to think about all of this. It's a lot." There was a pause on the other end. "Jennifer, forgive me for overstepping, but Emily told me a bit about your history. I understand you have reservations because of your own experiences in the industry. But Emily isn't you. She has a gift that shouldn't be hidden away out of fear." The words stung because they were true. Jennifer thanked Patricia and ended the call, standing in the rain for a long moment before heading into the luxury condo building she was scheduled to clean. As she scrubbed marble countertops in a penthouse with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking downtown Nashville, Jennifer's mind raced. She thought about Emily's face when she sang, the pure joy and freedom that transformed her daughter's features. She thought about her own mother, who had discouraged her from pursuing music, telling her she was being foolish and impractical. Jennifer had resented that discouragement for years. Was she doing the same thing to Emily now? Or was she being a responsible parent, protecting her child from a world that could be cruel and crushing? By the time Jennifer made it home that evening, exhausted and drenched, Emily was in her room practicing scales. Jennifer stood in the doorway, listening to her daughter's voice climb and descend with perfect control. "Em, can we talk?" Jennifer asked softly. Emily stopped singing. "If you're going to tell me I can't do the showcase, save your breath. I'm doing it with or without your blessing." The defiance in Emily's voice shocked Jennifer. Her gentle, compliant daughter had never spoken to her this way. "That's not what I was going to say," Jennifer replied, sitting on the edge of Emily's bed. The room was small but organized, everything in its place, so Emily could navigate independently. Posters of country music legends covered the walls. Not that Emily could see them, but she'd insisted on hanging them anyway. Then what? Emily's fingers picked at her bedspread, a nervous habit. Jennifer took a deep breath. "Mrs. Patterson called me today. She told me about the 2-song performance and the possibility of meeting Reba McEntire. Emily's face lit up like the 4th of July. She did. Mama, can you imagine? Actually meeting Reba? I've dreamed about it my entire life. I know you have, baby. And I know I've been holding you back because of my own baggage. Jennifer's voice cracked. I'm scared, Em. I'm terrified that you're going to get hurt, that people are going to reject you or take advantage of you or what? Decide I'm not good enough? Emily's voice softened. Mama, I know I might fail. I know people might not like my singing, but I need to try. I need to know if this gift I've been given can mean something beyond these 4 walls. Jennifer reached out and took Emily's hand. When did you get so wise? Probably around the same time you started treating me like I was made of glass, Emily said with a small smile. I'm blind, Mama. I'm not broken. I can handle disappointment. What I can't handle is never knowing what I'm capable of. The words hit Jennifer like a punch to the gut. She'd been so focused on protecting Emily from potential pain that she hadn't considered she might be causing a different kind of damage. The pain of unfulfilled potential, of dreams never pursued. You're right, Jennifer whispered. You're absolutely right, and I'm sorry. Emily squeezed her mother's hand. So I can do the showcase? Both songs? Yes, both songs. And if the opportunity to meet Reba comes up, we'll figure it out together. Emily threw her arms around Jennifer, and for a moment, they were just mother and daughter, holding each other in a small bedroom in North Nashville, while rain continued to drum against the windows. But as Jennifer held her daughter, she couldn't quite shake the knot of anxiety in her chest. She was opening a door that she'd spent years trying to keep closed. She could only hope that what lay beyond it would bring Emily joy rather than heartbreak. The 2 weeks leading up to the Nashville Youth Talent Showcase passed in a blur of rehearsals, vocal exercises, and mounting anxiety. Emily threw herself into preparation with an intensity that both impressed and worried Jennifer. Every spare moment was spent practicing, refining, perfecting. Jennifer had taken on extra cleaning shifts to afford a new dress for Emily. A simple but elegant navy blue one that Patricia Patterson had helped them select. She needs to look professional, Patricia had insisted. First impressions matter, even in talent showcases. The night before the showcase, Jennifer couldn't sleep. She lay in her narrow bed, listening to the sounds of the apartment building, the couple arguing upstairs, the hum of traffic on Dickerson Pike, the distant wail of sirens. At 2 a.m., she got up and found Emily sitting at the kitchen table, her fingers moving across her Braille music sheets one more time. Can't sleep either? Jennifer asked, filling the kettle for tea. My stomach feels like it's full of butterflies, Emily admitted. Is that normal? Completely normal, Jennifer assured her, sitting down across from her daughter. I remember before my first real performance, I threw up twice backstage. Emily giggled. That's disgusting, but also kind of comforting. Jennifer studied her daughter's face in the dim kitchen light. When had Emily stopped being her little girl and become this determined young woman? The transformation seemed to have happened overnight. Em, I want you to know something, Jennifer said carefully. No matter what happens tomorrow, whether you bring the house down or forget every word, I'm proud of you. Not because of your voice, but because of your courage. You're braver than I ever was. Emily reached across the table, finding her mother's hand with practiced ease. You're brave too, Mama. You work 2 jobs to keep us afloat. You never complain. You sacrifice everything for me. That takes courage, too. The simple acknowledgement brought tears to Jennifer's eyes. When did you become so grown up? I've always been grown up, Emily said with a smile. You just didn't notice because you were too busy trying to protect me. They sat together in the quiet kitchen until the sky began to lighten. drinking tea and talking about everything and nothing. By the time dawn broke over Nashville, Jennifer felt something shift inside her. She was still scared, but she was also ready to let Emily step into her own light. The showcase was held at the War Memorial Auditorium, a beautiful Art Deco building in downtown Nashville. As Jennifer and Emily arrived, the parking lot was already filling with cars. Parents and young performers streamed toward the entrance, everyone dressed in their Sunday best. Patricia Patterson met them at the door, her face glowing with excitement. "Emily, you look absolutely beautiful." And Jennifer, "Thank you for being here. I know this isn't easy for you. Where do we need to go?" Jennifer asked, trying to keep the tremor out of her voice. "Performers are gathering backstage. Emily, you're number 7 in the lineup, so you've got about an hour." "Jennifer, family seating is down front." Patricia placed a gentle hand on Emily's shoulder. "Ready to show Nashville what you can do?" Emily nodded, her face a mixture of excitement and terror. Jennifer walked with them backstage, taking in the chaos of nervous young performers, anxious parents, and harried stage managers. The energy was electric and overwhelming. In a quiet corner, Jennifer knelt down to Emily's level. "Remember what we talked about. Just sing like you do at home. Forget about everyone watching. It's just you and the music." "I love you, Mama," Emily said, hugging her tightly. "I love you too, baby. Now go show them what the Anderson women are made of." Jennifer made her way to the audience seating, her heart pounding. The auditorium was filling rapidly, at least 300 people already seated. She'd performed in venues this size before, back in her younger days, but sitting in the audience somehow felt more terrifying than being on stage. The showcase began with a boy performing a rock ballad, followed by a girl doing a theatrical piece from a Broadway musical. Each performer was talented in their own right, but Jennifer found herself barely paying attention, too focused on what was coming. Then, after what felt like both an eternity and no time at all, the MC's voice rang out. "Our next performer is Emily Anderson, a 12-year-old student from the Tennessee School for the Blind. Emily will be performing 2 selections for us today. Let's give her a warm welcome." The applause was polite but enthusiastic as Patricia Patterson led Emily onto the stage. Jennifer's breath caught as she watched her daughter walk confidently to center stage, one hand lightly touching Patricia's arm for guidance. Emily wore the navy dress they'd chosen, her auburn hair pulled back in a simple ponytail. She looked so small standing there under the bright lights, yet somehow larger than life. Patricia adjusted the microphone to Emily's height and whispered something in her ear before stepping away. The auditorium fell silent. Emily stood alone in the spotlight, her face tilted slightly upward, her hands clasped in front of her. "Hi, everyone," Emily's voice carried clearly through the sound system. "My name is Emily Anderson, and I've been blind since birth. Music has always been my way of seeing the world. The first song I'm going to sing today is The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia by Reba McEntire. It's about someone who can't see the truth right in front of them, which I thought was fitting." A ripple of appreciative laughter ran through the audience at Emily's self-deprecating humor. Jennifer felt tears already pricking at her eyes. The backing track began, a gentle guitar introduction. Emily took a breath, and then her voice filled the auditorium. From the very first note, Jennifer knew something extraordinary was happening. This wasn't just her daughter singing in their living room. This was something else entirely. Emily's voice soared and dipped with perfect control. But more than that, she was telling the story. Every word dripped with emotion, with understanding, with a maturity far beyond her 12 years. Jennifer looked around and saw the same expression on face after face. Captivated, moved, transported. A woman 2 rows ahead openly wiped tears from her eyes. The stage manager in the wings had stopped working and was standing transfixed. As Emily hit the final note, holding it with unwavering strength before letting it fade into silence, the auditorium erupted. The standing ovation was immediate and thunderous. People were on their feet, applauding and cheering, some shouting, "Bravo!" Emily's face broke into a brilliant smile, and she executed a small, graceful bow. Patricia appeared at her side, squeezing her shoulder with pride. "Thank you so much," Emily said into the microphone once the applause died down. "My second song is Fancy, also by Reba. It's about a mother who does everything she can to give her daughter a better life, even when it's hard. I'm singing this one for my mama, who works 2 jobs and sacrifices everything so I can pursue my dreams." Jennifer's hand flew to her mouth as tears streamed down her face. She hadn't known Emily was dedicating this song to her. The backing track for Fancy began, and once again, Emily transformed. This performance was different from the first, rawer, more personal. As she sang about a mother's love and sacrifice, about fighting to rise above your circumstances, every word seemed to come straight from Emily's heart. Jennifer understood in that moment that this was never just about music for Emily. This was her daughter's voice, her way of expressing everything she felt, everything she experienced. This was Emily's truth. By the time the song ended, there wasn't a dry eye in the house. The standing ovation was even longer than the first, the applause almost deafening. Emily stood on that stage, beaming, soaking in the moment. Patricia had to gently guide her off stage because Emily seemed reluctant to leave. The showcase continued with more performers, but Jennifer barely registered them. She was floating, overwhelmed with emotion. Pride, yes, but also a kind of awe. Her daughter had just commanded a room full of people with nothing but her voice and her courage. After the showcase ended, Jennifer made her way backstage through a crowd of people. She found Emily surrounded by other performers and their parents, everyone wanting to congratulate her. Patricia caught Jennifer's eye and smiled, mouthing, "She was incredible." When Emily heard Jennifer's footsteps, she turned immediately. "Mama, is that you?" "It's me, baby," Jennifer said, her voice breaking. "Emily, I don't even have words. You were absolutely magnificent." Emily rushed into her mother's arms. "Did I really do okay? I felt like it went well, but I can't see people's faces, so I wasn't sure." "More than okay," Jennifer interrupted. "Em, you brought that whole auditorium to tears, both times. You have a gift, baby. A real, genuine gift." Before they could say more, a woman in an elegant pantsuit approached. She was in her 50s, with sharp eyes and an air of authority. "Excuse me, are you Emily Anderson?" "Yes, ma'am," Emily replied politely. "My name is Diane Crawford. I'm on the board of directors for the Ryman Auditorium Foundation." She extended her hand, then realizing Emily couldn't see it, gently took Emily's hand instead. That was one of the most moving performances I've seen in years. You have something truly special, young lady. Jennifer's heart began to race. This was the woman Patricia had mentioned, the one with connections to Reba McEntire. "Thank you so much," Emily said, her voice trembling slightly with excitement. "That means the world to me. I don't know if your teacher mentioned this, but we're hosting a benefit concert next month at the Ryman. Reba McEntire is headlining, and we're looking for local talent to feature in the pre-show. After hearing you today, I'd like to offer you a spot." Emily's knees actually buckled. Jennifer caught her daughter's arm, her own legs feeling weak. "Are you serious?" Emily whispered. "Completely serious," Diane said warmly. "It would be a 15-minute set, 3 songs of your choosing. And there's a possibility, no promises, but a possibility, that Reba might want to meet the local performers. She's known for being incredibly supportive of young talent. Jennifer found her voice. "Miss Crawford, this is incredibly generous, but we'd need to discuss the details. When would this be?" "The benefit is 4 weeks from now, on November 15th. I have all the information here." Diane pulled a folder from her bag. "This includes the performance agreement, rehearsal schedules, everything you need. Take your time looking it over. You can call me directly with any questions." She handed Jennifer a business card. "Emily, regardless of your decision, know that you have a remarkable future ahead of you if you choose to pursue it." After Diane walked away, Emily turned to Jennifer, her face a mixture of hope and fear. "Mama, can we do it? Please. I know it's a lot, but this is Reba McEntire. This is literally my dream." Jennifer looked down at her daughter's hopeful face, at Patricia standing nearby with encouraging eyes, at the folder in her hands that represented both opportunity and risk. Every instinct screamed at her to protect Emily, to keep her safe from disappointment and exploitation. But she remembered what Emily had said. "I need to know what I'm capable of." "We'll look at everything carefully," Jennifer said. "And if it seems legitimate and safe, then yes, we can do it." Emily threw her arms around Jennifer with such force that they both nearly toppled over. "Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mama, this is the best day of my entire life." As they left the War Memorial Auditorium that afternoon, Emily chattering excitedly about song choices and what she might say if she actually met Reba, Jennifer felt a strange mixture of emotions. The fear was still there, coiling in her stomach, but it was joined now by something else. Hope. Fragile and terrifying, but hope nonetheless. Maybe, just maybe, Emily's story would have a different ending than Jennifer's had. Maybe this time, the dream wouldn't shatter. Maybe this time, talent and hard work would be enough. But as they rode the bus back to North Nashville, Jennifer couldn't quite silence the voice in her head that whispered, "Be careful. Dreams in this city have a way of breaking hearts." The apartment on Dickerson Pike became a different place in the weeks following Emily's showcase triumph. Where there had once been careful routine and quiet resignation, there was now energy, purpose, and barely contained excitement. Emily practiced constantly, running through potential song choices, while Jennifer juggled her work schedule to accommodate the rehearsal times at the Ryman. The performance agreement from Diane Crawford had been thorough and professional. No hidden clauses, no sketchy demands. Just a straightforward opportunity for Emily to perform at one of Nashville's most iconic venues. Patricia Patterson had reviewed every word and declared it legitimate. Jennifer had wanted to hire a lawyer to look it over, but the consultation fees were far beyond her budget. She'd had to trust that Diane was being honest. "What about Does He Love You?" Emily asked one evening as they ate dinner at their small kitchen table. "It's dramatic and shows off my range." Jennifer considered it, twirling spaghetti on her fork. "It's a duet, though. You'd need someone to sing it with you." "You could sing it with me," Emily said immediately. "Mama, you have a beautiful voice. I've heard you humming while you cook. You know all the words to every Reba song." "Absolutely not," Jennifer said firmly, her stomach clenching at the thought. "This is your moment, Em. I'm not getting on that stage." "Why not? Are you scared?" The directness of the question caught Jennifer off guard. "I'm not scared. I just think you should do this on your own." "You are scared," Emily pressed, her head tilted in that way that meant she was listening carefully to Jennifer's tone. "What happened to you, Mama? What made you stop singing?" Jennifer set down her fork, her appetite suddenly gone. She'd never told Emily the full story of her failed music career, the rejections, the humiliations, the slow death of hope. It seemed too heavy a burden to place on a 12-year-old. "It's a long story, baby. We have time," Emily said softly. "And maybe it would help me understand why you've been so worried about all of this." Jennifer stood and walked to the window, looking out at the streetlights beginning to flicker on across North Nashville. The autumn evening was cool, the sky streaked with orange and purple. She'd been avoiding this conversation for years. But maybe Emily was right. Maybe it was time. "I was 17 when I moved to Nashville," Jennifer began, her voice quiet. "Younger than I should have been, pregnant and alone, but convinced that my voice was going to save me. Your biological father had left when he found out I was pregnant. My mother told me I was throwing my life away. But I came anyway, because I had to believe there was something more for me than the life I was leaving behind." Emily sat perfectly still, listening. "For the first few years, I couldn't really pursue music. I was working minimum-wage jobs and taking care of you. But when you started school, I started going to open mics, sending demos to labels, doing everything I could to get noticed. I got some positive feedback. A few people told me I had talent. It felt like maybe I had a chance." "What happened?" Emily asked. "Life happened. Reality happened. I went to 100 auditions over 5 years. 98 of them I never heard back. 2 of them offered me something, but both wanted things I wasn't willing to do or give up. One wanted me to completely change my image and sound. The other wanted—" Jennifer trailed off, not wanting to explain to her 12-year-old daughter about the predatory producer who'd made it clear that advancement came with a price. Let's just say it became clear that the music industry wasn't the magical place I'd imagined. "So, you gave up," Emily said, not accusingly, just stating a fact. "I chose you over an impossible dream," Jennifer corrected. "I chose to put food on the table and keep a roof over our heads. I chose stability over chasing something that was never going to happen for me. That's not giving up. That's being a responsible parent." "But what if it had happened? What if someone had given you a real chance?" Jennifer turned back to face her daughter. "That's just it, Em. The music business doesn't work on what-ifs. It works on connections, luck, and being in the right place at the right time. Talent is only a small part of it. And for every success story, there are thousands of broken dreams." Emily was quiet for a long moment. "I understand why you're scared for me. But Mama, I'm not you. My journey doesn't have to be the same as yours." "I know that," Jennifer said, returning to the table. "Intellectually, I know that. But emotionally, it's hard to separate my experiences from your possibilities." "Then help me prove that different outcomes are possible," Emily said, reaching across the table to find Jennifer's hand. "Sing the duet with me. Show yourself that you still have that gift you thought you lost." Jennifer felt tears pricking at her eyes. "Em, I haven't performed in front of anyone in over a decade. I wouldn't even know where to start." "You start by saying yes," Emily said simply. "Please, Mama, do this with me." Looking into her daughter's face, seeing the hope and determination there, Jennifer felt something crack open in her chest. Maybe Emily was right. Maybe it was time to face the fears she'd been running from for so long. "Okay," Jennifer whispered. "Okay, I'll do it." Emily's face broke into a radiant smile. "Really? You mean it?" "I mean it. But if I sound terrible at rehearsal, we're switching to a different song." "Deal!" Emily jumped up and hugged her mother. "Mama, this is going to be amazing! We're going to kill it!" As Emily chattered excitedly about harmonies and staging, Jennifer tried to calm the panic rising in her throat. What had she just agreed to? The thought of standing on the Ryman stage, the mother church of country music, made her want to throw up. But she'd promised Emily, and she'd never broken a promise to her daughter. The next few weeks were a whirlwind. Jennifer managed to negotiate time off from both her jobs for the rehearsals, sacrificing income they couldn't really afford to lose. Patricia Patterson worked with both of them on the duet, teaching them how to blend their voices and play off each other's energy. To Jennifer's surprise, singing with Emily felt natural. Their voices complemented each other, Emily's youthful clarity against Jennifer's more mature warmth. Despite her terror, Jennifer felt something she hadn't experienced in years: the pure joy of making music with someone she loved. But as the date of the benefit concert approached, Jennifer's anxiety grew. She started having nightmares about forgetting lyrics, about her voice cracking, about people in the audience laughing. During her cleaning shifts, she found herself spacing out, obsessing over everything that could go wrong. "You look exhausted," her co-worker Linda commented one afternoon as they cleaned a law office downtown. Linda was a heavy-set black woman in her 50s who'd been with Crystal Clean for 15 years. She was one of the few people Jennifer had told about Emily's upcoming performance. "I can't sleep," Jennifer admitted, scrubbing a conference room table with perhaps more vigor than necessary. "The benefit is in 5 days, and I keep thinking about all the ways this could go wrong." "Or all the ways it could go right," Linda countered, wiping down windows. "Girl, your daughter is about to perform at the Ryman Auditorium. That's huge. You should be celebrating, not catastrophizing." "Easy for you to say. You're not the one who has to get up on that stage." "No, but I raised 3 kids who all played sports. You know how many games I sat through, convinced they were going to mess up? And you know what happened? Sometimes they did mess up, and it was fine. The world kept turning." Jennifer paused in her cleaning. What if Emily gets her hopes up about meeting Reba, and it doesn't happen? Or worse, what if it does happen, and Reba's not impressed? That could devastate her. Linda set down her spray bottle and came over to Jennifer, placing a hand on her shoulder. "Jennifer, listen to me. You're borrowing trouble that doesn't exist yet. Focus on what you can control: your performance, your support of Emily. Let the rest unfold as it will." "I'm just trying to protect her," Jennifer said, her voice breaking slightly. "I know you are, honey. But at some point, protection starts looking like a prison. That girl needs to spread her wings, even if there's a chance she might fall. And she needs you to spread yours too, so she can see that taking risks is worth it." Linda's words stayed with Jennifer for the rest of the day and into the evening. As she rode the bus home, watching Nashville's glittering skyline pass by, she thought about what it meant to really support Emily's dreams. It wasn't just saying yes to opportunities. It was showing Emily through her own actions that courage mattered more than certainty. That night, Jennifer found Emily in her room, organizing her Braille music sheets for the 100th time. "Em, can I ask you something?" "Sure, Mama." Jennifer sat on the bed. "Are you nervous about the performance?" "Terrified," Emily admitted, "but also excited." "Is that weird?" "Not weird at all. That's exactly how I'm feeling too." Jennifer took a breath. "But I want you to know something. Whether we're perfect or we mess up every word, I'm glad we're doing this together. You've taught me a lot about courage these past few weeks." Emily smiled. "You've taught me a lot too, about persistence and sacrifice, and loving someone enough to face your fears for them." They sat together in comfortable silence for a while, mother and daughter on the precipice of something new and frightening and wonderful. 3 days before the benefit, they had their final rehearsal at the Ryman. Walking into the historic venue took Jennifer's breath away. The red brick building, over 130 years old, held the ghosts of every country music legend who'd ever performed there. The wooden pews, the Confederate gallery, the stage where Johnny Cash, Patsy Cline, and yes, Reba McEntire had all stood. It was overwhelming. "Describe it to me, Mama," Emily said as they walked down the center aisle. "What does it look like?" Jennifer struggled to find adequate words. "It's like a church, but also a theater. The pews are worn smooth from over a century of people sitting in them. The stage is simple, wooden floors, a curved back wall. But there's this feeling in the air, Em, like history lives here, like music is sacred here." Emily tilted her head up, as if trying to sense what Jennifer described. "I can feel it. The acoustics are incredible. My voice is going to carry so differently here than anywhere I've practiced." Diane Crawford met them backstage with the show's musical director, a lanky man named Robert Chen, who'd been coordinating with all the performers. "Emily, Jennifer, wonderful to see you again. Ready for a sound check?" As they walked onto the Ryman stage, Jennifer's hands started shaking. The empty auditorium stretched before them, over 2,000 seats waiting to be filled. In 4 days, every one of those seats would hold a person watching, judging. "You okay, Mama?" Emily whispered, sensing Jennifer's tension. "Just a little nervous," Jennifer admitted. "We've got this," Emily said with confidence. "Trust me." The sound check went smoothly. Robert Chen worked with them on microphone placement and levels, giving them tips on how to move on stage and where the optimal spots were for sound. By the end of it, Jennifer felt marginally less terrified. As they were leaving, Diane pulled Jennifer aside. "I wanted to give you a heads up about something. Reba is planning to watch the pre-show performances from backstage. She specifically asked to see Emily perform after hearing about her from Patricia Patterson." Jennifer's heart stopped. "She'll be watching?" "Most likely, yes. I know that might add some pressure, but I thought you'd rather know ahead of time than be surprised." After Diane walked away, Jennifer stood frozen in the Ryman hallway. Reba McEntire was going to watch them perform. Reba McEntire, the artist who'd defined country music for decades, who'd overcome her own struggles to become an icon. The woman whose songs had soundtracked both Jennifer's dreams and their eventual death. "Mama, what did Ms. Crawford want?" Emily asked. Jennifer considered lying, sparing Emily the added pressure. But she'd promised herself no more secrets, no more protection disguised as silence. She wanted to let us know that Reba will probably be backstage during our performance. Emily's face went through a rapid succession of expressions: shock, terror, exhilaration. "She's going to hear me sing? In person? Mama, what if I mess up? What if my voice cracks? What if—" "Then we'll keep singing anyway," Jennifer interrupted firmly. "Em, listen to me. We're going to get up on that stage and sing our hearts out, regardless of who's listening. We're going to support each other and trust in the work we've done. And whatever happens, we'll face it together, okay?" Emily nodded, taking deep breaths to calm herself. "Together, together," Jennifer echoed, pulling her daughter close. As they left the Ryman that afternoon, Nashville's late autumn sun breaking through the clouds, Jennifer felt a strange sense of peace settling over her anxiety. Linda had been right. She couldn't control outcomes. She could only control her effort and her courage. The rest would unfold as it would. But that night, lying in bed, Jennifer's old demons returned with a vengeance. Memories of failed auditions, of executives who'd dismissed her without a second glance, of slowly realizing that her dream was dying. The shame of those years washed over her in waves. She got up and walked to Emily's room, watching her daughter sleep peacefully. Emily had no idea what rejection felt like, what it meant to pour your heart into something and have it handed back to you as worthless. Part of Jennifer wanted to wake Emily up, to warn her, to prepare her for the possibility of disappointment. But instead, Jennifer just stood there, watching Emily's chest rise and fall with breath, remembering Linda's words. At some point, protection starts looking like a prison. It was time to open the cell door for both of them. The Ryman stage awaited, with all its possibilities and perils. In 4 days, they would either soar or fall. But at least they would do it together, mother and daughter, finally honest about their fears and brave enough to face them anyway. The morning of November 15th dawned cold and gray over Nashville, a sharp wind rattling the windows of the apartment on Dickerson Pike. Jennifer had been awake since 4 a.m., her stomach in knots, despite having eaten nothing. Emily, surprisingly, had slept soundly until her alarm went off at 7, waking with an excited energy that made Jennifer simultaneously proud and envious. "Big day," Emily announced unnecessarily as she got dressed in the new outfit they'd splurged on. Black dress pants and a burgundy blouse that Patricia had assured them looked sophisticated and stage-appropriate. Jennifer wore her own best outfit, a simple black dress she usually reserved for job interview. They'd been instructed to arrive at the Ryman by 4 p.m. for final sound checks and preparation. The benefit concert started at 7 p.m., with the pre-show performances beginning at 6:30. Jennifer and Emily were scheduled third in a lineup of 5 local acts. Reba's main performance would start at 8 p.m. "You need to eat something," Jennifer told Emily, putting toast and eggs on the table despite her own inability to stomach food. "I can't. My stomach is doing gymnastics." "Eat anyway. You need energy." Jennifer forced herself to take a bite of toast to set an example. It tasted like cardboard, but she chewed and swallowed dutifully. The day crept by with agonizing slowness. Jennifer tried to distract herself with chores, but kept forgetting what she was doing mid-task. Emily practiced vocal warm-ups, then stopped, afraid of straining her voice. They were both a mess of nerves and anticipation. Finally, at 3 p.m. they called an Uber, a luxury they couldn't afford. But the bus schedule didn't align with their arrival time, and Jennifer refused to risk being late. As they rode through downtown Nashville toward the Ryman, Jennifer found herself gripping Emily's hand tightly. "Mama, you're cutting off my circulation," Emily said with a nervous laugh. "Sorry, baby." Jennifer loosened her grip slightly, but didn't let go. The Ryman's backstage area was controlled chaos when they arrived. Performers, crew members, and organizers rushed in every direction. Diane Crawford found them quickly, clipboard in hand, looking elegant but stressed. "Emily, Jennifer, perfect timing. Your dressing room is number 3 down this hallway. You'll have about 45 minutes to get settled before sound check. There's water and snacks in the green room if you need anything." A dressing room. Jennifer had only had her own dressing room twice in her entire performing history, both times at tiny venues that barely counted. Having one at the Ryman felt surreal. The room was small but clean, with a mirror surrounded by lights, a small couch, and a rack for hanging clothes. Someone had left a bouquet of flowers with a card that read, "Break a leg. You're going to be amazing. Patricia Patterson." Patricia sent flowers, Jennifer told Emily, describing them. "They're beautiful. Yellow roses and white carnations." "She's been so good to us," Emily said, running her fingers along the petals. "Mama, is this really happening?" Before Jennifer could answer, there was a knock on the door. A young woman with a headset stuck her head in. "Emily Anderson? We need you on stage for sound check in 5 minutes." The sound check went smoothly, though the presence of crew members and other performers made it feel more real and more intimidating. Jennifer could see people in the wings watching them, whispering to each other. Were they impressed? Skeptical? She couldn't tell. Robert Chen, the musical director, gave them some last-minute notes about their marks and microphone positions. "You two sound great together," he said encouragingly. Just remember to relax and enjoy it. The audience can tell when performers are having fun. Back in the dressing room, they had an hour to kill before the show. Jennifer attempted to fix her makeup 3 times, her hands shaking. Emily sat on the couch, running through breathing exercises Patricia had taught her. At 6 p.m., Diane knocked on their door again. "I wanted to give you both a heads up. Reba arrived about 20 minutes ago. She's in her dressing room. But she mentioned she'd like to meet the performers after the pre-show, before her main set. I can't promise anything definite, but be prepared for that possibility." After Diane left, Emily turned to Jennifer with wide eyes. "She's here. Reba McEntire is in this building right now. Mama, I think I'm going to pass out." "No passing out," Jennifer said firmly, though she felt lightheaded herself. "We're going to breathe, focus, and remember why we're doing this. We're here to share your gift with people who'll appreciate it. That's all. Reba McEntire is just another person who loves music." Even as she said it, Jennifer knew it wasn't quite true. Reba wasn't just another person. She was a legend, an icon. Someone who'd transcended the struggles Jennifer had never overcome. But Emily needed calm confidence right now, not anxious truth. At 6:25, the stage manager came to collect them. "You're on in 10 minutes. Wait in the wings until you hear your introduction." Jennifer and Emily made their way to the side of the stage, where they could hear the rumble of the crowd filling the auditorium. Through a gap in the curtain, Jennifer caught a glimpse of the audience. Every seat appeared to be full. Over 2,000 people dressed in evening wear, chatting and laughing. "How many people are out there?" Emily whispered. Jennifer considered lying, but decided against it. "A lot. More than 2,000. Emily's hand found Jennifer's and gripped tight. "I don't know if I can do this." "Yes, you can. We can. Remember what Patricia always says. You're not performing for them. You're sharing with them. There's a difference." The first 2 acts performed to enthusiastic applause. A teenage boy did a guitar instrumental that showcased impressive technical skill. A trio of sisters sang a tight 3-part harmony that brought the house down. Both acts were objectively excellent, which somehow made Jennifer more nervous. Then the MC's voice rang out. "Our next performers have a very special connection. They're mother and daughter. 12-year-old Emily Anderson, a student at the Tennessee School for the Blind, will be performing alongside her mother, Jennifer. They'll be singing 'Does He Love You' by Reba McEntire. Please welcome Emily and Jennifer Anderson." The applause swelled as Jennifer led Emily onto the stage. The lights were blinding. Even though Jennifer had been expecting them, she could feel the heat, the weight of thousands of eyes watching them. Her heart hammered so hard, she thought the audience might hear it. They took their positions at the microphones. Emily center stage, Jennifer slightly to her left. The backing track began with the song's distinctive opening notes. Jennifer looked at Emily and saw her daughter take a deep breath, centering herself. And then Emily began to sing. The first verse of "Does He Love You" belonged to Emily, and her voice cut through the auditorium like a knife through butter. Clear, powerful, heartbreaking. She sang of a woman confronting her lover's wife, demanding answers, and every word dripped with emotion. Jennifer watched, momentarily forgetting she had her own verse coming up, transfixed by her daughter's transformation. Then it was Jennifer's turn. The wife's response, defensive and angry and hurt. For a terrifying moment, Jennifer's mind went completely blank. She couldn't remember a single word. The crowd seemed to blur before her eyes. But then muscle memory kicked in, and the lyrics came flowing out. Her voice, rusty from years of disuse, found its strength. She sang of betrayal and suspicion, of a marriage crumbling. And as she did, She wasn't just performing. She was releasing years of hurt and disappointment. Not about a failed relationship, but about failed dreams. About the life she'd imagined versus the one she'd lived. When they came together for the chorus, both women demanding to know if he truly loves. Their voices intertwining in accusation and pain. Something magical happened. Jennifer and Emily's voices blended perfectly, supporting and challenging each other, creating a sound that was more than the sum of its parts. Jennifer felt tears streaming down her face as they sang, not because she was sad, but because this moment, sharing this song with her daughter, on this stage, for this audience, was healing something she hadn't even realized was broken. All those years of buried dreams, of swallowed disappointments, were being released through the music. The song built to its emotional climax, the final confrontation between the two women, and Jennifer and Emily gave it everything they had. Their voices soared, intertwined, separated, came back together. A musical conversation about love and betrayal and the complexities of human relationships. As the final notes faded, there was a moment of complete silence in the Ryman. Jennifer's heart sank, thinking they'd somehow failed. But then the auditorium erupted. The standing ovation was immediate and thunderous. People were on their feet, applauding wildly, some shouting. The noise was overwhelming, almost frightening in its intensity. Jennifer looked at Emily and saw her daughter's face streaked with tears, a brilliant smile splitting her features. They held hands and bowed together. The applause continued, seeming to go on forever. Finally, they walked off stage, still holding hands, both shaking with adrenaline and emotion. Patricia Patterson was waiting in the wings, tears streaming down her face. She pulled them both into a fierce hug. That was extraordinary. Absolutely extraordinary. You two were meant to sing together. Other performers congratulated them as they made their way back to the dressing room. The sisters from the earlier act hugged Emily enthusiastically. Crew members gave them thumbs up. Everyone seemed genuinely moved by what they'd witnessed. Back in the dressing room, Jennifer and Emily collapsed onto the couch, both laughing and crying simultaneously. "Did that really just happen?" Emily asked, her voice hoarse. "Mama, tell me that really just happened." "It happened," Jennifer confirmed, still trying to catch her breath. "Em, you were incredible. I mean truly, genuinely incredible. Your voice commanded that entire auditorium." "We did it together," Emily insisted. "Mama, I was so scared I'd mess up. But having you there with me, feeling your voice supporting mine, I've never felt so strong in my life." Jennifer pulled her daughter close, inhaling the familiar scent of her shampoo, feeling the rapid beating of Emily's heart. "I'm so proud of you, and I'm proud of us." They sat like that for a while, processing what had just happened, until another knock came at the door. Jennifer assumed it would be Diane or Patricia, but when she opened it, her heart stopped. Standing in the hallway, wearing jeans, boots, and a simple black top, her famous red hair pulled back in a ponytail, was Reba McEntire. "Hi there," Reba said with a warm smile. "I hope I'm not intruding. I'm Reba." Jennifer's brain short-circuited. She stood frozen, unable to form words. Behind her, she heard Emily gasp. "Is that, Mama, is that really her?" Emily's voice was barely a whisper. Reba laughed, a genuine, kind sound. "It's really me. May I come in? I wanted to meet you both after that incredible performance." Jennifer finally found her voice. "Of course. Please, come in. I'm Jennifer, and this is my daughter Emily." Reba walked into the small dressing room, immediately kneeling down in front of Emily, who was still sitting on the couch. "Emily, I watched your entire performance from backstage. I have to tell you, In my 40 years in this business, I've rarely heard anything that moved me the way your voice did tonight. Emily's hands were trembling. Miss McEntire, I don't even know what to say. You're my idol. Your music has been everything to me my whole life. Please, call me Reba. And Emily, I'm going to be straight with you. You have a gift that's rare. Not just a beautiful voice, though you certainly have that, but the ability to convey real emotion, to make people feel what you're singing. That's something that can't be taught. You either have it or you don't. And you definitely have it. Reba turned to Jennifer. And you, Jennifer. Where have you been hiding that voice? The way you two harmonized was special. Really special. Jennifer felt tears welling up again. I used to sing years ago, but life got in the way, and I gave it up. Reba's expression turned sympathetic. I've heard that story before. This business can be brutal, especially to women trying to break in without connections or resources. But hearing you tonight made me wonder what the music world missed out on. Thank you, Jennifer whispered, overwhelmed. Reba stood and looked between them. I have a proposition for you both, if you're interested. I'm performing in about 20 minutes, and I'd love to have you join me for the final song of my set. Would you be willing to come back out on stage and sing with me? Emily's jaw dropped. Jennifer felt the room spin. Are you serious? Jennifer managed to ask. Completely serious. I was planning to close with Consider Me Gone, but I'm thinking we could change it to something the three of us could do together. What do you think about Does He Love You? You two already know it, and I've sung it 1,000 times. We could make it a trio instead of a duet, if you're comfortable with that. Yes, Emily nearly shouted. Yes, absolutely yes. Reba laughed again. I love the enthusiasm. Jennifer, are you in? Jennifer looked at her daughter's radiant face, at Reba McEntire's genuine smile, and felt something shift deep inside her. This was the moment she'd dreamed of 20 years ago. Sharing a stage with her idol, being recognized for her talent, having her hard work validated. It had come 2 decades late, and in a completely unexpected way, but it was finally here. I'm in, Jennifer said, her voice strong and clear. Wonderful! Reba clapped her hands together. Meet me backstage in about 45 minutes. We'll run through it once quickly, work out the harmonies, and then we'll make some magic for these folks. After Reba left, Jennifer and Emily sat in stunned silence for a full minute, before simultaneously screaming with excitement, hugging each other and jumping up and down like children. This is not real life, Emily kept repeating. This cannot be real life. It's real, Jennifer assured her, laughing through tears. We're about to sing with Reba McEntire. On the Ryman stage, in front of over 2,000 people. The next 45 minutes passed in a blur. They refreshed their makeup, practiced vocal warm-ups, and tried unsuccessfully to calm their nerves. Patricia came by to check on them, tears of joy streaming down her face when she heard about Reba's invitation. When the time came, a crew member escorted them backstage. They could hear Reba performing, her powerful voice filling every corner of the historic venue. The crowd was loving every moment, singing along to classics like Fancy and The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia. Robert Chen met them in the wings. Okay, here's the plan. Reba will finish Is There Life Out There, take her applause, then introduce you both. You'll walk out, take your positions, and we'll go straight into Does He Love You? Reba will take the wife's part, Emily will keep the mistress's part, and Jennifer, you'll provide harmony and join in on the chorus. We ran through it with Reba during the break, and she's confident you can handle it. Any questions? Jennifer's mind was blank with terror and excitement. Emily just shook her head, squeezing Jennifer's hand so hard it hurt. They stood in the wings, waiting. Reba finished her song to thunderous applause, then walked to center stage with a microphone. "Y'all having a good time tonight?" she called out, and the crowd roared. You know, one of the best parts of doing these benefit concerts is discovering new talent. Tonight, during the pre-show, I had the privilege of hearing something really special. A mother and daughter sang together, and it reminded me why I fell in love with music in the first place. They're going to join me now for one more song. Please, welcome back to the stage, Emily and Jennifer Anderson. The applause was deafening as Jennifer led Emily onto the stage. The lights seemed even brighter than before, the crowd even larger. But then Reba was there, placing a reassuring hand on each of their shoulders. "You've got this," she whispered. "Just feel the music." The backing track began. Emily started the first verse, and once again, her voice captivated the entire auditorium. But this time, it was different. This time, she wasn't just singing in front of strangers. She was singing alongside her hero. When Reba came in with the wife's response, her legendary voice blending with Emily's, the effect was electric. The two voices, one young and crystalline, one mature and powerful, created a dynamic tension that the song demanded. Jennifer joined on the harmonies, her voice weaving between and around Emily's and Reba's, providing depth and richness. The three of them moved around each other on stage with an intuitive understanding, their voices telling the story of love, betrayal, and confrontation. The chorus was explosive. Three women, three generations, three voices united in a question that echoed through the ages. Does he love you? The Ryman seemed to shake with the power of it. As they built toward the final climax, Jennifer felt completely present in a way she hadn't in 20 years. This was what she'd dreamed of. This was what music was supposed to feel like. Not a competition, not a desperate grab for success, but a shared experience of creation and emotion. The final note hung in the air, and then the Ryman exploded. The standing ovation was longer and louder than any that night. People were screaming, crying, holding up their phones to capture the moment. Reba pulled both Emily and Jennifer into a hug, all three of them laughing and crying. They took their bows together, Reba McEntire, country music royalty, standing alongside a cleaning lady and her blind daughter from North Nashville, treating them as equals, as fellow artists. As they walked off stage, Reba kept her arms around both of them. That was incredible, truly incredible. Emily, I meant what I said earlier. You have something special. And Jennifer, you need to start singing again. The world needs to hear that voice. Back in the dressing room, as the adrenaline slowly ebbed, Jennifer and Emily held each other and processed what had just happened. They'd not only performed at the Ryman, not only met Reba McEntire, but they'd sung with her. They'd shared a stage with a legend and held their own. "Mama," Emily said softly, "thank you for being brave enough to do this with me. Thank you for facing your fears." Jennifer kissed the top of her daughter's head. "Thank you for teaching me that some dreams are worth the risk." The video went viral within hours. Someone in the audience had filmed the entire performance of Emily, Jennifer, and Reba singing "Does He Love You?" and posted it to YouTube. By the time Jennifer and Emily woke up the next morning, it had been viewed over 1 million times. By evening, it was approaching 5 million. Jennifer's phone, which rarely rang except for work-related calls, had become a constant source of notifications. Friend requests on social media, messages from people she hadn't heard from in years, even a few calls from local news stations wanting interviews. "Mama, I don't understand," Emily said as they sat at the kitchen table, both still in pajamas despite it being noon. They'd been too wired to sleep much after getting home from the Ryman at midnight. Why are so many people watching? Jennifer scrolled through the comments on the video, her eyes filling with tears. Because people see something real in it, Em. Listen to this comment. I lost my mother last year, and watching this mother-daughter duet made me remember all the times we sang together in the kitchen. Thank you for this beautiful moment. And this one, as someone who is also blind, seeing Emily's confidence on stage gives me hope for my own dreams. There were thousands of comments like that, people sharing how the performance had touched them, inspired them, reminded them of someone they loved. But there were also comments from industry professionals, music bloggers, and talent scouts expressing interest in Emily's future. The phone rang again. This time, it was Diane Crawford from the Ryman Foundation. Jennifer, I hope I'm not calling too early. I wanted to let you know that the response to last night has been overwhelming. The Ryman's social media accounts have been flooded with people asking about Emily. And Diane paused. We've received several inquiries from legitimate industry representatives who want to discuss opportunities for Emily. Jennifer's stomach tightened. What kind of opportunities? Recording demos, meetings with labels, possible representation. I've vetted these inquiries personally, and they're all from reputable sources. No shady characters, I promise. I'm happy to pass along their contact information if you're interested. After the call ended, Jennifer sat staring at her phone. This was it. The moment she'd been simultaneously hoping for and dreading. Real opportunities were materializing for Emily. The question was, what would they do with them? Over the next few days, life became surreal. The local news ran a feature on Emily, with reporters coming to the apartment to film. Patricia Patterson called with news that several of her contacts in the music education world wanted to offer Emily scholarships and mentorship opportunities. Even Linda from Crystal Clean called, having seen the video circulating on Facebook. "Girl, I told you it would work out," Linda crowed. "My church group has watched that video 10 times. You and Emily are Nashville celebrities now." But the most unexpected call came 3 days after the benefit concert. Jennifer was getting ready for her evening shift at Mabel's Diner when her phone rang with an unknown Nashville number. "Hello? Hi, Jennifer. This is Reba McEntire. I hope you don't mind. I got your number from Diane Crawford." Jennifer nearly dropped the phone. "Reba? I mean, Miss McEntire? Reba's laugh was warm. "Please, just Reba. Listen, I've been thinking about you and Emily non-stop since Saturday night. That performance we did together was really special. And I'd like to help you both navigate what comes next, if you're open to it." "Help us how?" Jennifer asked carefully, her years of disappointment making her cautious. "I know how the music industry works, especially for people without connections or resources. I also know how predatory it can be. I'd like to offer myself as a mentor of sorts, someone who can help you evaluate opportunities, make smart decisions, and avoid the pitfalls that trap so many talented people." Jennifer felt tears welling up. "Why would you do that for us?" "Because I see myself in you, Jennifer. I was a single mother trying to make it in this industry when my kids were young. I know how hard it is. And Emily reminds me why I got into music in the first place. The pure love of it. The joy of sharing something beautiful with people. I don't want that to get crushed by the business side of things." They talked for over an hour. Reba explained the different paths Emily could take, signing with a major label versus staying independent, the importance of good legal representation, the value of building a genuine fan base versus chasing viral moments. She offered to connect them with her own lawyer and manager to review any contracts that came their way. The most important thing, Reba emphasized, is that Emily stays in school, continues her education, and maintains a normal childhood as much as possible. I've seen too many young performers get chewed up and spit out because they sacrificed everything for fame. Talent needs time to develop and mature. After the call, Jennifer sat in stunned silence for several minutes. Reba McEntire, her teenage idol, the woman whose career represented everything Jennifer had once wanted, was offering to mentor them. It felt like a dream. Over the following weeks, Jennifer and Emily, with Reba's guidance, began carefully evaluating the opportunities that had come their way. Some they declined immediately. Offers that seemed too good to be true usually were. Others warranted serious consideration. The most promising came from a Nashville-based independent label called Authentic Voices Records, specializing in country and Americana artists. They wanted to sign Emily to a development deal, a contract that would give her time to grow as an artist, record some demos, but without the pressure of immediate album releases or tours. Reba helped them review the contract with her entertainment lawyer, making sure the terms were fair and that Emily's education and well-being were protected. The label agreed to work around Emily's school schedule and to provide a vocal coach, studio time, and marketing support without demanding creative control over Emily's artistic choices. But before making any final decisions, Jennifer sat down with Emily for a serious conversation. "Em, I need you to really think about what you want. Not what you think I want, or what everyone else expects, but what's true for you. Because once we sign a contract, even a good one, your life is going to change. There will be pressure and expectations and scrutiny. Are you ready for that?" Emily was quiet for a long moment, her fingers tracing patterns on the kitchen table. "Mama, can I ask you something? Do you regret trying to make it in music? Even though it didn't work out the way you hoped, do you wish you'd never tried?" The question caught Jennifer off guard. She thought about those years of struggle, the disappointments, the slowly dying hope. But she also thought about the joy of writing songs, the thrill of connecting with an audience, the feeling of her voice soaring over a melody. "No," Jennifer said slowly. "I don't regret trying. I regret giving up. I regret letting fear and disappointment make me believe I had nothing left to offer. If I could go back, I wouldn't change the trying part. I'd change the giving up part." Emily nodded. "Then I want to try. I want to see how far this gift can take me." "But Mama," she reached across the table to find Jennifer's hand, "I need you to try too. Not just as my mom supporting me from the sidelines, but as an artist in your own right. We proved at the Ryman that you still have it. Don't let that be a one-time thing." Jennifer's throat tightened. "Em, I'm 40 years old. I have responsibilities, bills to pay, and dreams you never properly pursued," Emily interrupted. "Mama, Reba said something to me when we were backstage. She said the best thing we can do for the people we love is show them it's never too late to be brave. I think she was talking about you." The words hit Jennifer like a physical blow. How had her 12-year-old daughter become so wise? Over the next few days, Jennifer found herself thinking seriously about her own music for the first time in years. She dug out old notebooks filled with songs she'd written, melodies she'd composed on a battered guitar that now sat gathering dust in her closet. Reading through them, she was surprised to find that many were actually good, raw and honest in ways that her younger self hadn't fully appreciated. One afternoon, while Emily was at school, Jennifer picked up the guitar and tuned it. Her fingers were stiff at first, but muscle memory gradually returned. She started playing through one of her old songs, a ballad about small-town dreams and big-city realities. As she sang, her voice cracking occasionally from disuse, she felt something long dormant stirring inside her. When Emily came home and heard her mother playing, she said nothing, just sat quietly and listened. After the song ended, she smiled. "Write that down, Mama. That's the real stuff." Jennifer made a decision. She would take on less cleaning work, not quit entirely. They still needed income, but scale back enough to have time to write and practice. She'd start going to open mic nights again, not to chase a record deal, but to reconnect with the joy of performing. She'd take Reba's words to heart. It was never too late to be brave. The day they signed Emily's development deal with Authentic Voices Records was both exciting and terrifying. The label's offices were in a renovated house in East Nashville, all exposed brick and reclaimed wood, filled with gold records and vintage music equipment. The owner, a woman named Claire Hutchinson, was in her 50s and had a reputation for discovering and nurturing genuine talent. "I want to be clear about our vision for Emily," Claire said, as they sat around a conference table, the contract spread before them. "We're not looking to create the next pop sensation or viral moment. We want to help Emily develop her artistry, find her authentic voice, no pun intended, and build a sustainable career. That takes time, patience, and a willingness to do things differently." Reba, who had come to the signing as both supporter and advisor, nodded approvingly. "That's exactly the right approach. Emily has something rare, and rushing it would be criminal." The contract was signed. Emily would spend the next year working with a vocal coach, writing songs and recording demos. There would be no pressure to tour or release an album until she was ready. The label would handle some social media presence to build awareness, but Emily's primary focus would remain her education and artistic development. As they left the label's office that afternoon, Jennifer felt cautiously optimistic. This wasn't the fairy tale ending where Emily became an overnight sensation. This was something potentially better, a genuine opportunity to grow as an artist with support and guidance. But the real transformation was happening in Jennifer herself. She'd started attending a weekly open mic at a small coffee shop in North Nashville. The first time she'd stepped back on stage, her hands had shaken so badly she could barely play guitar. But the audience had been warm and supportive, and with each subsequent performance, her confidence grew. One evening, about 2 months after Emily's deal was signed, Jennifer performed one of her new songs, a piece about second chances and finding courage in unexpected places. When she finished, the coffee shop erupted in applause. A man approached her afterward and introduced himself as Tom Reeves, a producer who worked with several independent Nashville artists. "I've been coming to this open mic for 5 years, and I've rarely heard anything as genuine as what you just performed," Tom said. "Have you thought about recording?" Jennifer almost laughed. At 40, with a 12-year-old daughter and a life full of obligations, was she really considering this? But then she remembered Emily's words. "Show the people we love that it's never too late to be brave." "I haven't, but maybe I should," Jennifer replied. Over the following months, a new rhythm established itself in the Anderson household. Emily attended school during the day and worked with her vocal coach and songwriting mentor in the evenings and on weekends. Jennifer continued her cleaning work, but reduced her hours, using the freed time to write music and occasionally record demos in Tom Reeves's modest home studio. They were no longer struggling quite as desperately. Emily's development deal had included a modest advance that allowed them to pay off some debts and build a small savings cushion. But more importantly, they were both pursuing their artistic dreams with honesty and authenticity. Reba checked in regularly, offering advice and encouragement. She invited them to a few of her concerts, always introducing Emily from the stage as a young artist to watch. The exposure helped build Emily's profile, but Reba was careful never to overshadow Emily's own journey. One spring evening, about 6 months after the Ryman performance, Jennifer and Emily sat on their small balcony watching the sunset over North Nashville. The neighborhood was changing. New development was pushing longtime residents out. Rents were rising. Gentrification was reshaping the landscape. But for now, this was still home. "Mama, can I tell you something?" Emily asked. Her face turned toward the fading light she couldn't see. "Always, baby. I used to think that success meant becoming famous, having people recognize my name and my voice everywhere I went. But now, I'm realizing that's not what matters. What matters is getting to do what I love, improving my craft, connecting with people through music. Whether that happens in front of millions or hundreds doesn't really matter." Jennifer felt her eyes fill with tears. "When did you become so wise?" Emily smiled. "I learned it from you. You spent years thinking you'd failed because you didn't become a star, but you were successful in all the ways that matter. You raised me, you survived, you never completely gave up on your dreams, even when it felt impossible. That's real success, Mama." Jennifer pulled Emily close, both of them sitting in comfortable silence as night fell over the city. Somewhere in the distance, live music floated from the honky-tonks on Broadway. Car horns honked. Sirens wailed. Nashville kept spinning, indifferent to the small dramas and quiet victories happening in apartments across the city. But here, on this balcony, Jennifer felt something she hadn't experienced in 20 years. Contentment. Not the absence of struggle. They still had bills to pay and challenges to face, but a sense that they were on the right path, that they were honoring their gifts and supporting each other's growth. Emily's phone buzzed with a text from her vocal coach, confirming next week's session. Jennifer's phone showed an email from Tom Reeves, asking if she'd be interested in opening for a local artist at a small venue downtown. Opportunities, both big and small, continued to present themselves. The viral video of their Ryman performance still occasionally got shared on social media, with people discovering it for the first time and leaving comments about how it moved them. But Jennifer and Emily had learned not to measure their worth by views or likes. The real measure was in the work, in the continuous effort to grow and improve and create something meaningful. A year after that transformative night at the Ryman, Emily released her first official single, a song she'd co-written about finding your way in darkness, both literal and metaphorical. It was a modest release through Authentic Voices Records, not heavily promoted or pushed to mainstream radio. But it found its audience, particularly among young people facing their own challenges and looking for inspiration. The song reached number 47 on the country charts. Not a massive hit, but a solid debut that proved Emily had staying power beyond a viral moment. More importantly, it was authentic to who Emily was, a genuine artistic statement rather than a manufactured attempt at commercial success. Jennifer released her own EP around the same time, a collection of 5 songs she'd written over the past year. It was a deeply personal work, exploring themes of motherhood, regret, redemption, and second chances. The release was even more modest than Emily's, a digital-only distribution through Tom Reeves's small indie label with minimal promotion. But something unexpected happened. A prominent Nashville music blogger discovered Jennifer's EP and wrote a glowing review, calling it the most honest and affecting debut from a mature artist in recent memory. The review went viral in music circles, and suddenly Jennifer had her own small but passionate fan base. She started getting booked for shows at listening rooms and small venues around Nashville and beyond. The audiences were small, 50 to 100 people, but they were engaged and appreciative. For Jennifer, this felt more fulfilling than any stadium show could have been. She was finally creating and sharing music on her own terms, without compromise or desperation. One evening, Jennifer and Emily were both booked to perform at the Bluebird Cafe, Nashville's legendary songwriting venue. It was a dream come true for both of them. The Bluebird was where countless careers had been launched, where the focus was purely on the songs and the artistry. They each performed separate sets, showcasing their individual artistic identities. Emily sang her new material with confidence and maturity. Jennifer premiered a new song about watching your child surpass you, about the bittersweet joy of seeing them become everything you hoped they'd be. At the end of the night, the Bluebirds' owner invited them to do one song together as an encore. They chose The Climb by Miley Cyrus, not a Reba song this time, but something that felt appropriate for their journey. As they sang about struggles and perseverance, about the journey being more important than the destination, every person in that intimate room understood they weren't just performing a song. They were sharing their story. The applause was warm and genuine. As they left the Bluebird that night, walking out into the Nashville evening, Jennifer took Emily's hand. "You know what the best part of all this is?" Jennifer asked. "What?" "We get to do it together. We get to support each other, celebrate each other's victories, and lift each other up when things are hard. Not every mother and daughter get to share a dream like this." Emily squeezed her mother's hand. "I couldn't imagine doing it any other way, Mama. You taught me that pursuing your dreams isn't selfish, if you bring the people you love along with you." They walked toward their car, parked on the street under the glow of Nashville's lights. The city that had once represented broken dreams for Jennifer had transformed into something else, a place of second chances, of community, of possibility. Their story wasn't the typical success story that Nashville liked to celebrate. There were no private jets, no stadium tours, no platinum records. But there was something more valuable: authentic artistry, mutual support, and the courage to keep creating even when success looked different than they'd imagined. Emily continued to release music steadily over the next few years, building a loyal fan base and earning respect within the industry for her genuine talent and professionalism. She performed at the Grand Ole Opry at age 15, fulfilling a childhood dream, with Jennifer proudly watching from the wings. Jennifer carved out her own niche as a songwriter's songwriter, respected for her honest lyrics and emotional depth. She continued working part-time, not cleaning anymore, but teaching songwriting workshops at a local community center, helping other aspiring artists find their voice. Reba remained a presence in their lives, checking in regularly and occasionally inviting them to collaborate on projects. The relationship had evolved from mentor-mentee into genuine friendship, built on mutual respect and shared love of music. 3 years after that night at the Ryman, Jennifer and Emily were invited back to perform at another benefit concert. Standing backstage, waiting to go on, Jennifer thought about how much had changed since that first terrifying performance. She was no longer the woman consumed by fear and regret, protecting her daughter from pursuing dreams because she'd been hurt pursuing her own. Emily was no longer the child who had to fight her mother for permission to try. They had both grown, both transformed. Both learned that courage wasn't the absence of fear, but the decision to act despite it. "Ready, Mama?" Emily asked, extending her hand. Jennifer took it, feeling the familiar warmth and trust in her daughter's grip. "Always ready when I'm with you, baby." They walked onto the Ryman stage together, mother and daughter, artists and dreamers, proof that it's never too late to find your voice, and that the most meaningful success often looks different than you imagined. As they sang that night, their voices blending and soaring through the historic venue, Jennifer felt complete in a way she never had before. This was what she'd been searching for all those years ago. Not fame or recognition, but the simple joy of creating something beautiful and sharing it with people she loved. The audience gave them a standing ovation, but Jennifer barely noticed. She was too busy watching Emily's face, seeing the pure happiness there, understanding that this moment, this shared journey, this mutual support, this honest pursuit of their gifts, was the real dream come true. The video of that performance would eventually be viewed millions of times, with comments about how authentic and moving it was. But for Jennifer and Emily, the numbers didn't matter. What mattered was that they had found their way back to music together, had healed old wounds and built new dreams, had proven that courage and authenticity could create their own kind of success. As they left the Ryman that night, Emily turned to Jennifer. "You know what I'm grateful for, Mama?" "What's that?" "That you were brave enough to let me try, even when you were scared. And that you were brave enough to try again yourself. We're better artists together than we ever could have been separately." Jennifer pulled Emily close, her heart full. The streets of Nashville stretched before them, glittering with possibility. They had work to do, songs to write, dreams to pursue. But they would face it all together, supporting each other, creating authentic art, and proving that sometimes the best success stories are the ones that unfold slowly, honestly, and with love at their center.